This video shows how to make a very durable 7-pocket bifold passport wallet. A passport is an important document for people that like to travel. Seeing a passport usually means the person holding it is from another country, may be on vacation with lots of money, so a passport can alert thieves and should remain hidden. Therefore, a passport wallet that will fit securely in your front pocket might be a good idea. Begin by drawing a purposeful sketch. The standard size of a passport is 3.5 inches by 5 inches, so a 6-inch pocket will work. An extra identification is usually required, so card pockets for a driver's license, healthcare card, and a few payment cards should be included with cash and document pockets to make the wallet function well. Then draw the lines in 1:1 scale and print your pattern. I like to print in 1/8 inch acrylic for a cutout template to trace around with a hobby knife to cut out the leather parts. I like this method because the sturdy acrylic pattern parts are also excellent layout tools to help keep the parts organized and lined up square. When choosing leather, a 4-ounce saddle leather is ideal for the wallet back, especially if you want to carve the back because it is not overly heavy, but still thick enough to make an impression. It is also a good idea to add a thin leather liner to the back of your carved leather, like 2-ounce calf, which is very strong but a little softer on the fingers. For the interior cash and card pockets, saddle leather split to about 2 ounces works well to secure the cards snugly without breaking them, and 1.5-ounce pigskin adds strength to the pockets without making the wallet overly bulky. Then lay out the artwork for the carved wallet back like this easy-to-draw geometric pattern. Transparency film works great because it can be printed like paper in 1:1 scale. Then case the leather in room temperature water, which is to gently soak the leather all the way through, and allow it to dry until firm but malleable, about 10 minutes. Then tape the transparency over top of the leather and onto a hard surface like this piece of marble, and use a stylus tool to trace and make an impression for a swivel knife to follow. A small ruler works great to trace straight lines, but do not press down too firmly on the ruler or it will make an impression. To make accurate straight contour lines with square edges, set your knife and draw by dragging your hand straight back from point to point, lifting your swivel knife and setting the depth of cut for each pass. Then bevel the edges you want to stand out. Small glass weights used for fermentation in the kitchen work great to hold the leather without making an impression and are easy to clean. You want to be careful not to cut or stamp all the way through the leather, and a small stylus with a spoon-shaped tip works great to smooth out uneven stamp marks. When the tooled leather is bone dry, it can be colored because damp leather will not accept the dye very well, especially if you're using oil-based dyes. The EcoFlow solvent or water-based dyes used here are yellow, purple, and black, and applied with a brush to evenly separate the colors and a small sponge to flood a solid color. Then mark your stitching holes starting from the back and all the stitching lines that will not be punched through after the wallet back is attached to the interior pockets. The stitching chisels used here are spaced 5 millimeters apart, and a gentle tap is all it is needed to punch through thin saddle leather. When marking the stitching holes around a curve, a 2-pronged chisel works well to evenly space the holes, but a stitching awl can be used too. Skiving down the thickness of the leather around the edges makes the wallet easier to stitch, and creates a sunken seam that will limit the chances of the thread catching on something while it is being used, and makes the wallet more comfortable. Then glue in the lining. Make sure all the corners are glued in, and use a burnishing tool to make sure the skived edges are pressed down evenly and there are no air pockets. Applying even pressure when the glue is drying will help keep the pockets flat. Then stitch the openings of the pockets and tap down the edges to straighten them with a finishing hammer on a flat surface like this piece of marble. Then trim off the excess liner leather. When the leather is skived down thin, a straight edge like a ruler will make it easier to drag a knife along, and it is easier to finish the pocket edges before the wallet is stitched together. When the interior pockets are stitched onto the cash pocket and all the exposed edges are burnished and painted, make sure the lining for the carved back will fit, and glue it in around a curve instead of a flat. This technique helps the wallet establish a natural bend. Then make sure all the edges line up and use dowels to gently squeeze out the air pockets around the curve and allow it to dry. You can also make the lining a little larger and trim it, but I prefer to cut it so it fits and skive down the edges before gluing the seam. Next, stitch in the interior pockets. It is easier to glue and stitch one side at a time. A flat piece of acrylic and small electrical clamps work great to apply even pressure and make the seam flat and easier to stitch. Yellow 0.6 millimeter Ritza bonded nylon thread is used here, and all the pocket edges are triple stitched to add strength. Then glue and stitch the other side. There will be uneven edges that can be trimmed with a knife or use sandpaper to make the edges flush, then bevel, burnish, and paint the edges. When saddle leather is new, it is stiff, especially when a lining is glued in, so a small bone folder is a useful tool to open up all the pockets up, making sure you get the tool into the corners. You also want to make sure everything you want to carry in the wallet fits. Then generously apply some leather conditioner to help soften the leather inside and out and wipe off the excess. To care for this wallet and make it last a lifetime, you will not want to get it wet and apply a little leather conditioner as needed.